And so if you have more immediate needs other than our, help, it's really important when you get in a car wreck to go ahead and call 911. And it's the smartest thing you can do when you talk to the people that receive those calls. They're usually going to suss things out. It's like, oh, anybody hurt? Do you need an ambulance? Those kind of things. Oftentimes, it is better for the police to show up. And the reason for that is that the police will help with a police report determine who was at fault. And if you can get the police to do that right after the accident happened, you're going to be in a better spot if you were not at fault. If you're at fault, we can't help you anyway. But if you're not at fault, it is so helpful to have a police report that I recommend everybody call the police. 911 is really what you do. And more than likely they'll send an officer. The officer doesn't always do a police report, but 90% of the time they will. And when they do, they will determine fault because they are experts at it, just like we are. And it's super helpful to have that.
We call 911. But first we call a law firm. Then we call 911. No, first you call 911. Yeah. Then you call, and then what do? You're on scene. Yeah. So I think we should break it down to maybe on scene and then after.
Yeah. Right. So first things first. If your car is in the middle of a highway or a busy road, to the extent you can get it off the road, do that. I mean, you definitely don't want to get in a car wreck that wasn't your fault and then be the person sort of worried about moving the car because maybe the police need to see where your car is or something like that and have somebody else come up on you and smash into you, because that could be even worse for you because you're no longer in the car. You might be outside the car. So if you can get the car out of the road, do it. If you can't do it safely, get yourself off the road and wait for either an ambulance if you need it or the police. And the first responders are going to be the best people to help you sort of on scene. And after that, you're going to be expected to exchange information with the other driver. You should take pictures. It's important. Everybody has a cell phone in their pocket now. Take it out. Take some photos. Take some photos of where you're at, what street you're on, where your car got located after the collision, because that can also be very helpful if we don't have a police report that determines fault. So we're going to want to have the best evidence we have. And you can help yourself by just taking some photos.
Yeah, I do that even on my rental cars, to be honest, because sometimes that car could get damaged when the tow truck comes up.
Totally.
The other thing that I think I do, and not that I'm in accidents a lot, but I if I'm with people, take an inventory of people and ask them specifically how they feel.
Absolutely. Oftentimes right after an accident, people are not sure how they feel, and most people's natural response is, I'm okay, because of, maybe you're not bleeding, maybe you didn't break anything, and you're like, oh, gosh, I'm okay, I'm good. The truth of the matter is, though, that you really don't know contemporaneously with the collision or the crash or the accident whether you've really got an injury or not. And so, yeah, you're going to hear, I'm okay, usually, or, oh, boy, I'm not okay, like my head is spinning, in which case, call an ambulance. For sure.
One of the things, too, you mentioned is taking pictures. And what I do and have done, even when I'm not in an accident, which I'm not in a lot, knock on wood, but is take a picture of their license, take a picture of the car, take a picture of their insurance, take a picture of all of this because you're nervous.
Every bit of that advice is advice that I will happily repeat, but I don't think we have to. You should take a photo of all of it. Their license, their insurance card, their car, where it's located, the damage to their car, the driver, because what if the driver hands you someone else's insurance card? Those are the kind of things that may or may not matter in the long run, but if you can get some kind of photo, it'll make working with our firm so easy because you can just text us the photos and we'll take it from there.
Right.
We'll run with that information and it'll relieve you of the burden. And so, yeah, pictures are critical. And if you can have the sort of enough awareness, no matter what kind of shock you're in, if you can do it, or have someone maybe who else was in the car, or maybe even a person that stopped to help, anybody that can take those photos for you, are going to help your case along and certainly going to move it faster.
Okay, so we've covered on scene, and really, your pictures are your biggest asset.
Yeah, they are.
Now if you can drive your car home for some reason, let's just say now we're home, or you had to get it towed, but now you're home.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you do?
So again, not to beat a dead horse, but you call Angel Reyes and the team of experts at Reyes Brown Riley, and we're going to help you with that, right?
Well, in all kidding aside, it is absolutely imperative that you call an attorney at this point, because you have no idea what is going on. This is not this. There's a whole structure that happens.
Yeah.
You're laughing now for those who are just listening, because
Yeah.
it's true. There's this whole thing that happens that you're not aware of.
The moment that accident happens, the minute that the at-fault driver's company knows about it, and they generally know about it relatively quickly, they have multi-billion-dollar teams swinging into action to minimize both what they pay you for your property damage and what they pay you for your potential for now or forever injuries. So to the extent that you don't get a law firm involved, you will have your claim diminished. They have teams that are much deeper than you can ever imagine. That's sole job is to pay as little as possible to the body shop that's repairing your car and to any doctors or healthcare experts that you need to make sure whether you've got an injury that is only going to last for a little while or a potential injury that could last for a lifetime. And you will not know that sometimes for months until after the crash.
Well, here's something. Sometimes you're so scared because maybe you let your insurance lapse, maybe not by purpose or something, and your inclination is to say, I'll handle it, but you should not do that.
No. So the good thing is in Texas, look, you're supposed to have insurance to drive a car, but for lots of reasons, insurance can lapse. For some, sometimes people just can't keep affording it. That's okay. That won't be held against you so long as you are not at fault. If you are not at fault in a crash, in an accident in Texas, the at-fault driver's insurance company is responsible for paying all damages. Now, all damages can only be expressed, in my personal opinion, after you've engaged an attorney in a law firm to help you, because you will not know, and they will absolutely, they meaning the insurance company for the at-fault driver, will absolutely try to minimize how much they pay at every step of the way through your case, whether it's your property damage, your personal injuries, your bodily injuries, etc. That is their sole mission. It's to pay as little as they can.
Now, we get home, you call an attorney. Should you also, if you do have insurance, should you also call your insurance agency?
Typically, we would say yes. Now, most people are very worried about that because they think, oh gosh, if I call my insurance company, it wasn't my fault. They might raise my rates. Yeah. The truth of the matter is, in Texas, if the accident or the crash was not your fault, your own insurance your premiums will not be affected by an accident or a crash that was not your fault. People think that because the insurance companies have done such a great job of making the message sink into everyone's brain that, oh my gosh, I need to just absolutely not talk to them because they're going to raise my rates. But if it wasn't your fault, your rates aren't going to go up. And if you contact your insurance company after a crash that was not your fault, one, your rates won't go up, so stop worrying about that. And two, your insurance company actually will help us make sure that the at-fault driver's insurance company at least gets the property damage handled and at least gets you into a rent car. And they'll do it faster than if you just have us helping you. So it's nice to have your own insurance company working with us because, remember, they're minimizing how much they pay too. But in this case, because it wasn't your fault, they're happy to help us because the other insurance company is going to be the people who pay all that, right? And so we think it's a good idea, although we really also tell you, let us handle that. We'll contact your insurance company for you. Just give us the insurance information, and we will make sure that they know about it, and we'll make sure that they know it wasn't your fault. And we will also check on other benefits that you may have. You might have some what's called personal injury protection benefits. You might even have underinsured or uninsured motorist benefits. And those are benefits that you're paying for. And if for some reason the at-fault driver, maybe their insurance lapsed, right? If that's the case, you should use your own insurance benefits if you have them. It would be silly to pay for those benefits and then when you need them, not use them. I mean, I always tell people, look, if you've got health insurance and you come down with cancer, I doubt that you're going to say, gosh, I don't think I want to use my insurance because, maybe my health insurance rates are going to go up next year. No, you've got cancer. You call and you tell that insurance company, pay these benefits for me. It's the same thing with car insurance.
One thing I was also thinking is you should, once you get home, you can tell me what you think about this, is log who you talk to and when.
Yeah,
because memories, and I think courts have proved this and scientific studies, your memory of what happened can change.
So will the at-fault drivers, by the way, just in case you're wondering. They meaning the people, the person or people who were at fault for the accident, oftentimes will tell their insurance company, no, I didn't run a red light. It was green when I saw it, and there are ways for us to know by getting the records. We can actually get the records at any intersection that tell us exactly whether the light at that time was red, green, yellow. And so it's kind of cool. These are computer stuff. I mean, it's all stuff that without a lawyer you're never going to get. Right? So that's another reason you should engage a lawyer as quickly as you can, because we're going to make sure that you get treated fairly.
Is there anything that we missed about what to do after a car accident? I mean, there's a whole string of things.
There is a whole string of things, and we probably could have gone a little deeper on some of these, but those are the big highlights, right? I mean, the photos, contacting an attorney, letting the attorney contact your own insurance company if you have insurance. Those are the big, basic, early starters. And then my biggest piece of advice is that you have to get checked out. If you're going to worry about the steel and aluminum around your car that probably got all crumpled and damaged, I think you ought to be worrying about yourself just as much. And so even if you feel okay for a few days, you really need to go see some specialists to make sure that you don't have an injury that you're unaware of or that might last for a lifetime. And boy, you owe it to yourself to do that.
And I think one barrier that people could have is they feel like, I say this lovingly, is every time I call my lawyer, I feel like there's this clock running and I'm getting billed. But in these cases, you're not at fault. That's probably not going to happen. So they don't have to be as scared that you call Angel and the clock starts ticking.
Let me tell you, that's a great point, and I want to put as fine a point on this as I can. You have absolutely nothing to lose if you've been in a car accident and you call our law firm. If you call Angel Reyes and the team at Reyes Brown Riley, we are not ever going to charge you unless we successfully resolve your case. On top of that, if we help you find some medical experts to uncover whether you've got a for now or a forever injury, if we are unsuccessful, you will not have to pay those medical experts. And so essentially, you got nothing to lose by calling us because you'll never pay us unless we win your case. And when we say yes to taking your case, we're usually pretty spot on. We're going to win your case. Now, it may take some time. You might have to be patient. But eventually, we're going to win your case. And when we do, you're going to be happy. You're going to get a check like what we see here in the background. And we're going to pay all the doctors. You're going to finally pay us, but not until then. So, there is nothing to lose by engaging a lawyer and making sure that you're okay, getting your car fixed. And let me tell you, we will put a team around every case that we have, and we are 99.9% of the time successful.
I think one of the things that people, this could be counterintuitive, but my grandfather was actually one of the leading malpractice attorneys in the country. And what you don't realize is that the law firm and your law firm, because you've seen so many cases, how many cases do you think you've seen in 30 years?
We've successfully resolved 55,000.
55,000.
55,000 people we've represented and written checks to them.
So imagine 55,000 people. What you know is you actually are the quote unquote rating service of doctors. So you know who the best doctors are. So once you call, it's like a all in one. I mean, it sounds like an infomercial here, but it's actually true.
It is true. Because of the decades that we've been doing this work and because of the expertise we have in this work, we actually can stand in as your health insurance company. The doctors that we work with are the same doctors that take Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, etc. The difference is they won't ask for a copay, and you won't have to pay a deductible. And if we're not successful, you won't have to pay their bill. And so there's a lot of good reasons to let us help you get to the right medical experts to uncover, whether you've got that for now or forever injury. And I keep repeating that because it's so important, because most people just don't know. And until you've really seen a few experts, and you owe it to yourself to do that. Look, you're going to send your car to an expert body shop. They're going to repair it. You're going to hope they're experts, right? We're going to get you some medical experts that are going to tell us point blank, this person is going to be okay over time, or this person is going to have this problem forever. And if you've got a forever injury, you better have some good lawyers.
Well, I think we covered the gamut. We've got a ton of other topics to talk about on the show.